surf today. Heard some people acting crazy over something strange. Brothers be paying for diamonds that they can't afford, just to keep up the appearance for a Polaroid. All I see is something crazy I don't understand. Ladies making babies just to keep a man. Fellas chasing Stellas when they got a Pam. They go from Stephanie to Bethany, from definitely to never be. So how does it feel to be loved? Oh, how does it feel? That's what they say. Ooh, must be insane. Oh yeah. How does it feel to be loved? Somebody has gotta tell me, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. It goes timeline, swipe right, deep like 5 times. Don't know what it sounds like, but someone told me it's a little Marvin with some candlelight. A little ocean on the weekend with a can of Sprite. I mean a loving wife. Ooh, love is such a mystery. I'm so perplexed by all the things my eyes have let me see. People think that love is things like physicality, when in reality it's meant to hold you down like gravity. How does it feel to be loved? How does it feel to be loved? That's what they say. Oh my, must be insane. Oh yeah, how does it feel to be loved? How does it feel? How does it feel? Yeah. Hey. Oh, because you see now, how am I supposed to find love if I don't understand love? How am I supposed to be loved? Ooh. And if I have to buy love, then I don't really want love. If this is what it means, the fighting and the screams, you want dependency, I need sincerity. Oh, hey. I gotta know, I ain't too sure. Somebody tell me, how does it feel to be loved? Yeah. Oh yeah.
She called me diamond on the weekdays. Got so much pressure, that's why this song be stuck on replay. I got pressure, she called me diamond. No time for mistake, too scared for writing. You know I dreamed this reality since I was a youngin'. Write down who I be and now the manifestation's coming in. Now why you acting like what? Now why you acting like that? Put your thoughts into the universe and she gon' bring it right back. You so hard on yourself, mama, you don't need that. No, you your biggest critic, girl. Best believe that. Best believe that. Best believe that. Cause why? I needed to hear that. Am I overthinking will be the death of me? Am I pointless stressing won't be the remedy for my motivation that I feel I need? Ooh, I got pressure. She called me diamond on the weekdays. Got so much pressure, that's why this song be stuck on replay. And I got pressure. She called me diamond on the weekday. Yeah, yeah. Got so much pressure. That's why this song be stuck on replay. Now that's whack. I don't know how to act. A false reality that I seem to create it in my head to make me feel I'm not deserving of these things I do. And the only track you're vibing is a G-Part 2. And what's that? As a matter of fact, this is just a reminder that so happens to be a rap kite. You're doing exactly what you wanna do. And now she flying to your stage just to sing for you.
I just landed murdered on this earth today. Heard some people acting crazy over something strange. Brothers be paying for diamonds that they can't afford, just to keep up the appearance for a Polaroid. All I see is something crazy I don't understand. Ladies making babies just to keep a man. Fellas chasing Stellas when they got a Pam. They go from Stephanie to Bethany, from Jeopardy to never be. So how does it feel to be loved? Oh, how does it feel? That's what they say. Ooh, must be insane. Oh yeah. How does it feel to be loved? Somebody has gotta tell me, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It goes timeline, swipe right, deep like 5 times. Don't know what it sounds like, but someone told me it's a little Marvin with some candlelight. A little ocean on the weekend with a can of Sprite. I mean, I love him white. Ooh, love is such a mystery. I'm so perplexed by all the things my eyes have let me see. People think that love is things like physicality, when in reality it's meant to hold you down like gravity. How does it feel to be loved? How does it feel to be loved? That's what they say. Oh my, must be insane. Oh yeah, how does it feel to be loved? How does it feel? How does it feel? Yeah. Hey. Oh, because you see now, how am I supposed to find love if I don't understand love? How am I supposed to be loved? Ooh. And if I have to buy love, then I don't really want love. If this is what it means, the fighting and the screams, you want dependency, I need sincerity. Oh, hey. I gotta know, I ain't too sure. Somebody tell me, how does it feel to be loved? Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I just wanna know, yeah. I just gotta know, yeah. How does it feel? How does it feel to be loved? Oh my, hey, oh my, yeah.
Do 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 do. Yeah, 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 yeah. I got pressure. She call me diamond on the weekdays. Got so much pressure. That's why this song be stuck on replay. I got pressure. She call me diamond. No time for mistake. Too scared for writing. You know I dream this reality since I was a youngin'. Write down who I be and now the manifestation's coming in. Now why you acting like what? Now why you acting like that? Put your thoughts into the universe and she gon' bring it right back. You so hard on yourself, mama, you don't need that. No, you your biggest critic, girl. Best believe that. Best believe that. Best believe that. Cause why? I needed to hear that. Am I overthinking will be the death of me? Am I pointless stressing won't be the remedy for my motivation that I feel I need? Ooh, I got pressure. She call me diamond on the weekdays. Got so much pressure. That's why this song be stuck on replay. And I got pressure. She call me diamond on the weekday. Yeah, yeah. Got so much pressure. That's why this song be stuck on replay. Now that's whack. I don't know how to act. A false reality that I seem to create it in my head to make me feel I'm not deserving of these things I do. And the only track you're vibing is a G-Part 2. And what's that? As a matter of fact, this is just a reminder that so happens to be a rap kite. You're doing exactly what you wanna do. And now she flying to your state just to sing for you.
I just put on this earth today. Heard some people acting crazy over something strange. Brothers be paying for diamonds that they can't afford, just to keep up the appearance for a Polaroid. All I see is something crazy I don't understand. Ladies making babies just to keep a man. Fellas chasing Stellas when they got a Pam. They go from Stephanie to Bethany, from Jeopardy to never be. So how does it feel to be loved? Oh, how does it feel? That's what they say. Ooh, must be insane. Oh yeah. How does it feel to be loved? Somebody has gotta tell me, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. It goes timeline, swipe right, deep like 5 times. Don't know what it sounds like, but someone told me it's a little Marvin with some candlelight. A little ocean on the weekend with a can of Sprite. I mean a loving wife. Ooh, love is such a mystery. I'm so perplexed by all the things my eyes have let me see. People think that love is things like physicality, when in reality it's meant to hold you down like gravity. How does it feel? How does it feel? Yeah. Hey. Oh. Because you see now, how am I supposed to find love if I don't understand love? How am I supposed to be loved? Ooh. And if I have to buy love, then I don't really want love. If this is what it means, the fighting and the screams, you want dependency, I need sincerity. Oh, hey. I gotta know, I ain't too sure. Somebody tell me, how does it feel to be loved? Yeah. Oh yeah.
She call me diamond on the weekdays. Got so much pressure, that's why this song be stuck on replay. I got pressure, she call me diamond. No time for mistake, too scared for writing. You know I dream this reality since I was a youngin'. Write down who I be and now the manifestation's coming in. Now why you acting like what? Now why you acting like that? Put your thoughts into the universe and she gon' bring it right back. You so hard on yourself, mama, you don't need that. No, you your biggest critic, girl. Best believe that. Best believe that. Best believe that. Cause why? I needed to hear that. Am I overthinking will be the death for me? Am I pointless stressing won't be the remedy for my motivation that I feel I need? Ooh, I got pressure. She call me diamond on the weekdays. Got so much pressure, that's why this song be stuck on replay. And I got pressure. She call me diamond on the weekdays. Yeah, yeah. Got so much pressure. That's why this song be stuck on replay. Now that's whack. I don't know how to act. A false reality that I seem to create it in my head to make me feel I'm not deserving of these things I do. And the only track you're vibing is a G-Part 2. And what's that? As a matter of fact, this is just a reminder that so happens to be a rap kite. You're doing exactly what you wanna do. And now she flying to your state just to sing for you.
I just landed stranded on this earth today. Heard some people acting crazy over something strange. Brothers be paying for diamonds that they can't afford, just to keep up the appearance for a Polaroid. All I see is something crazy I don't understand. Ladies making babies just to keep a man. Fellas chasing Stellas when they got a Pam. They go from Stephanie to Bethany, from definitely to never be. So how does it feel to be loved? Oh, how does it feel? That's what they say. Ooh, must be insane. Oh yeah. How does it feel to be loved? Somebody has gotta tell me, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It goes timeline, swipe right, deep like 5 times. Don't know what it sounds like when someone told me it's a little Marvin with some candlelight. A little ocean on the weekend with a can of Sprite. I mean a loving wife. Ooh, love is such a mystery. I'm so perplexed by all the things my eyes have let me see. People think that love is things like physicality, when in reality it's meant to hold you down like gravity. How does it feel? How does it feel? Yeah. Hey. Oh. Because you see now, how am I supposed to find love if I don't understand love? How am I supposed to be loved? Ooh. And if I have to buy love, then I don't really want love. If this is what it means, the fighting and the screams, you want dependency, I need sincerity. Oh, hey. I gotta know, I ain't too sure. Somebody tell me, how does it feel to be loved? Yeah. Oh yeah. She called me diamond on the weekdays. Got so much pressure, that's why this song be stuck on replay. I got pressure, she called me diamond. No time for mistake, too scared for writing. You know I dream this reality since I was a youngin'. Write down who I be and now the manifestation's coming in. Now why you acting like what? Now why you acting like that? Put your thoughts into the universe and she gon' bring it right back. You so hard on yourself, mama, you don't need that. No, you your biggest critic, girl. Best believe that. Best believe that. Best believe that. Cause why? I needed to hear that. Am I overthinking will be the death for me? Am I pointless stressing won't be the remedy for my motivation that I feel I need? Ooh, I got pressure. She called me diamond on the weekdays. Got so much pressure, that's why this song be stuck on replay. And I got pressure. She called me diamond on the weekday. Yeah, yeah. Got so much pressure. That's why this song be stuck on replay. Now that's whack. I don't know how to act. A false reality that I seem to create it in my head to make me feel I'm not deserving of these things I do. And the only track you're vibing is a G-Pot 2. And what's that? As a matter of fact, this is just a reminder that so happens to be a rap kite. You're doing exactly what
Can I get a cue? Am I supposed to start?
Jay, you can go ahead and get this party started.
Awesome, great. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to today's Roca special event, celebrating the greater community in which Roca is honored to work in and be part of. I'm Jay Ash. I'm currently the president and CEO of the Massachusetts Competitive Partnership, which is an organization of 17 of the largest businesses in Massachusetts, and we come together to promote economic competitiveness in the entire Commonwealth. But to be honest with you, if I could for a minute, the title that I'm most fond of is a title that I used to have, and that was Chelsea City Manager, which I enjoyed for 14 years. I get to think about Chelsea all the time. God has played this terrible trick on me. In order to get to Boston, my office right now, I have to drive through Chelsea every morning. And I have to tell you that as I'm driving through the city, I want to get off the highway and into the city. And I think about all of you all the time. And that goes for Chelsea and those communities around Chelsea. You know, I was a city manager and I had the opportunity to be a secretary of the Commonwealth for Economic Development under Governor Baker in his first term. And as I would drive around the communities, I would talk to community leaders and ask them, who's your Roca? I'd hear from them about problems they were having or goals that they've had. And I would automatically default to Roca as being the solution, not only because of Roca's great work on behalf of young people in need of, but often without champions, but also because of the leadership and the stewardship that Roca has exhibited in the community. I've had so much respect for Roca that I've actually joined the board, and now I'm a board member of Roca. And as any one of you who have been involved with Molly knows, once you join, you're given a task. And I've been given the task today, this assignment, to serve as your real MC on this virtual event. So I want to talk a little bit more about the source of respect that I have for a moment. I've learned so much from Roca about how to respect and help others, and at the same time learn more about who I am and what I stand for. I'm so grateful that Roca takes on the toughest challenges and advocates for those who are part of our community, but haven't always felt like they are a part of our community, if you know what I mean. I admire Roca for its grit, its indefatigable attitudes, and its high hopes and expectations that we all can and all will do better for each other in the communities we all call home. As one who once turned his back on Roca, but one who never had Roca turn a back on him, thanks for leading a nationally, heck, internationally recognized model of addressing the needs of those in our communities who are worthy of our special attention and efforts. Roca has taught me that there aren't bad kids, for example, only bad situations that have preyed on our kids and on our young adults. I've learned so much, including that we are stronger by not ignoring the hard times some of our neighbors and family face, but instead by caring together, we can care for each other and make a really good life available for some really good people. So we are all here today celebrating the greater Chelsea community. I want to thank all of you for your contributions to being part of the solution. I especially want to thank those of you on the line who have contributed from your various public and private places of importance. You've shared your time and your commitment, sometimes above and beyond what we should have expected. Our success in the community, in professional life, and as a group of caring and dedicated people is rooted in all that Roca does. Roca is so much to many of us, and Roca has done so much for all of us. There's one person who stands out, one who has been a great leader in Roca, but also a great leader in our communities, a person that's been a friend, an advocate, a counselor, sometimes a slap in the header, Molly Baldwin. And Molly, it's great to share this opportunity with you today. Thank you for, I dare say, Molly, 30 plus years of working this together. Your ability to continue to show up every day and inspire all of us to do more and more. The great care and love that you have for each and every one of us has meant so much to all of us. Molly, thanks for inviting us into Molly's world, and it's great to turn it over to you for you to share a few words.
Jay, thank you for your kind words. And it's been 33 and a half years. So I want to say good morning to everyone. I so wish we were meeting in person, but nonetheless, here we are. I can't even begin to tell you how deeply honored I am personally and the whole team to know the young people we have the privilege of walking with and knowing, to work with the incredible staff. All of you are wonderful partners and our board members to try in some small way to bring some sense of justice in this world. We are here to celebrate with you. We are here to thank you and to remind everyone how deeply honored we are to do this work. And just to say thank you. We also have the honor this morning to acknowledge our late friend, Harry Spence. And we want to show you a few pictures of Harry, and then we're going to share a few comments and go from there. So with that, we'll show you a few pictures.
I'm not sure, Molly, about you, but I'm getting all worked up here seeing the pictures of Harry. Harry meant so much to many of us. I thought I'd share some thoughts about Harry. Molly, maybe turn it over to you to share some thoughts. It's great to be able to honor Harry. For those of you who remember Harry, 1991 to 1995, a very troubled time in the city of Chelsea. We went into state receivership, and Harry was first the deputy receiver, and then for 3 years the receiver. And Harry did so much for the city of Chelsea. Harry, in terms of Roca, was probably the single most important person in my mind to the establishment of Roca, other than Molly. And at that time, as Harry was helping to rebuild the city of Chelsea, he knew that relationships weren't working in the community, and he knew that outcomes weren't changing. And he empowered Roca to come into our community to be a difference maker. Molly, I think so much about Harry. There's not a week or a month that goes by that something that I do or something that I see doesn't remind me of Harry. But I have to tell you, when I think about Harry, there's so many thoughts about how the integrity and the honesty that he exhibited at a time, especially that Chelsea needed it, but at a time that those of us who were growing up and we needed somebody to show us the way needed. And I remember Harry. One of the things I thought most about Harry was that he saw government as for the people and not for special interests. And I talked to him so many times about that. Harry was a teacher, he was a mentor, he was a counselor to all of us. In addition to being a leader and a visionary, I always thought of him as a figurative accountant, holding everybody, starting with himself, accountable to the public trust he's so valued. And he was on a mission to honor. When I think of Harry, I know that he enjoyed a good laugh. I can hear him booming, but sometimes those booms were booms of frustration and anger, because he never shied away from having tough decisions, tough discussions, and really plowed through to help us want to be the best versions that we could be of ourselves and of our community. For him, no challenge was too big. No opportunity to help others or lead positive change was too small. What a great communicator he was. Really a man of the people, especially those without a voice and a need of a champion. Molly, I know he was as special to you as he was to me and to many others that are on the line here. Molly, what are your thoughts when you think about Harry?
Yeah, so lots of thoughts, and those of you who know me, I don't think I've done a single event at Roca where I don't burst into tears. So I'm trying here. Jay and I were talking last night, not only remembering Harry, but the sort of aura was the word that Jay used of Harry, and I have so many thoughts and memories, but I wanted to share two. And one, I think Jay had forgotten actually, what one of the most um, sort of memorable meetings I ever attended was 10 years after receivership. I think it was in the basement at Bunker Hill. And it was a discussion between Harry and you, Jay, about what Chelsea was and had become 10 years later. And I remember thinking, this is just one of the most extraordinary conversations I'll ever witness. And as we look at what's going on in the country today, as I think about the two of you and Guy Sandegate and Tom Ambrosino, there's something in Chelsea, and Harry certainly helped lead us there, that we know what is possible with government. We know what government could be and should be for everyone. And I just sort of hold this expectation and hope in my heart. And the other thing I was thinking about is how clear Harry was about loving people. I know his family knows this better than we do, and we're so grateful to them for allowing us to be part of his life as well. And I think about him going to the Department of Children and Families. He came to a circle training at Roca the weekend he decided to do it. And he talked about the Taj Mahal at the Department of Children and Families because it stood for love. And what an obvious thing that the Department of Children and Families should stand for. So many of you, like us, are so inspired by him and so grateful to know him. We cannot thank you, Robin, and your family enough for allowing us to honor Harry today. And we'd love to have you join us for a moment. Thank you.
Holly, we're going to transition over to the Harry Spence awardees. We're going to leave Robin towards the end of the event.
It's okay. I
Okay.
can just say a few, sorry about that. I can just say a few words. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to, but I just want to say thank you for doing this and for all those kind words about Harry. And Roca just meant a lot to him. And Molly and Jay, I know that you were in his heart ever since Chelsea and all the people of Chelsea. So thank you.
Robin, thank you. You know, if it's true that every cloud has a silver lining, Molly, the fact that Chelsea had to go into receivership was probably the worst day of my life when Chelsea went into receivership. And probably one of the best things that happened in my life was getting to meet Harry. We spent so much time together talking about government. And as I said, I learned so much from him. But I watched him. I watched the way that he conducted himself in the community. And as I said, a great communicator. It never ceases to amaze me when I was with him that the time that he took for people, you know, just regular people out on the street and would talk to them and you could tell how engrossed he was in what their needs were and how government might be able to help them. So it's a really special day for us to be able to recognize him. And of course, Molly, I think I speak for you. I think I speak for a lot of people on this call. We can't ever do enough to repay what he's meant to so many of us and to the community of Chelsea and to good public service everywhere. What a great leader, role model that we should all aspire to. Molly, anything else before I introduce awards?
Go ahead.
So Molly, I'm going to talk about Tom and Gladys for 2 seconds, and then I'll allow you to introduce the third award. So Tom Ambrosino and Gladys Vega are on the line with us, and Molly, can't think of two better people that encapsulate what Harry really stood for when I think about Tom and Gladys, and we're glad to kick off this inaugural award by recognizing the two of them. Tom, you know, when I think about Harry, as I said, I think about integrity and honesty in government, and that's when I look that up in the dictionary, I see Harry's picture and I see Tom's picture, but more so than the integrity and honesty. Tom, what you've done in Chelsea, and especially during this period of COVID, where you saw government as a vehicle to help people in need and really extended yourself well beyond what traditional government would do, would have been something that Harry would have been proud of. And thank you, Tom, for the leadership that you've exhibited in the community. Molly has suggested that you continue a line. There was one blip in that line, Molly. When Harry, Guy, then there was a blip, and then Tom. But great work being done by Tom Ambrosino, and we're very lucky to have you in Chelsea. And then what more can I say about Gladys that everyone has already said about Gladys? But Harry believed in government as being community service, and Harry very much believed in and wanted to empower community servants to be able to affect change in the community. And when I think about people that have affected change in the community, that have really nurtured and lived and sometimes died, deaths with community, Gladys Vega comes to mind. A name known in Chelsea, it's when somebody says Molly, you know who you're talking about. When somebody says Gladys, you know who you're talking about. But a name that extends beyond Chelsea, in our region, in our state, and throughout our country, just a real force. And everything that Harry thought about relative to community is embodied in what Gladys does. So Gladys, thank you for your many years. I won't say decades, Gladys, but we're all getting a little bit older and working together. Many years of all you've done and the way you've done it. Tell both Tom and Gladys, Harry's looking down on you right now, saying you've done yourselves and you've done our community well. So congratulations. Molly, I'm going to give you a minute for another award.
The third award's going to Maria, who is a young mother at Roca, Chelsea. She's been with the program for 3 years, been through lots of challenges, has a 3-year-old child, and it's really demonstrated tremendous personal courage. And most interestingly, she spent the summer organizing young mothers to talk with government officials in Massachusetts about what they needed and what else needed to be happening for them to be able to succeed. And I can't help but think that Harry would have so loved to have sat with her. So to all three of you, thank you so much for accepting these awards.
Hi, I'm Tom Ambrosino, City Manager in Chelsea. And first, I just want to thank Roca for this tremendous award. I'm so honored to receive it, especially given that it is an award inspired by Harry Spence. I know there are so many in Chelsea that are great admirers of Harry Spence and great friends of his. I am one of those, and I got the privilege to work with Harry for 3 years in the Massachusetts court system, and he was a true mentor to me, showed me what real leadership is about, and I'm so grateful for all that he taught me. So this award has real meaning for me. I really just can't accept it, though, individually. All the work that we did here during COVID was really the result of a collaboration, not just with other city employees, but with residents and with great nonprofit organizations, and Roca is at the top of that list. Roca worked so hard during this pandemic to help the most vulnerable in this community, and the city is so grateful for all of its work here. So with that said, I just again wanna thank you for this award. I really do cherish it.
To all the friends at Roca, thank you so much for honoring our legend, Harry Spence. Harry came to our city when we needed him the most. He was an amazing city manager. He is totally being missed. And our prayers go to his families. Also, Roca, thank you for the support that you gave us during the pandemic. For all the mothers that you provided diapers to, we are really, really grateful. Thank you so much for the work you do. Gracias.
My name is Maria Rodales. I'm honored to receive the Harry Spence Award. I'm about to graduate Roca after 4 years and have come a long way from where I started at 15 years old, pregnant with my daughter Giselle. I'm about to graduate high school. I just moved out of shelter and I'm currently working right now. I recently had the opportunity to lead a focus group of other youth moms and empower them to share their experience, challenges, and barriers. Thank you to Roca for believing me and supporting me and helping me become the leader for other youth moms at Roca.
Wow, it's a great way to kick off a morning, and I'll just say one more thing about Harry, and Tom brought it up about collaboration. The collaboration that we practice in Chelsea, and I like to think that Harry was at the forefront of it, was not what you can do for me, but what we can do collectively for each other. And so all three of you are outstanding examples of what Harry preached and practiced. And thank you all for your individual and your collective efforts in making our communities, your family, Maria, and others happy and successful. So we're going to transition from the Harry Spence Awards. We could spend a longer time telling stories about Harry, and that maybe we should do that sometime. But we're going to go to some organizational updates and some other stories. So I'm going to turn it over to the Roca team to plug us into that.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Scott Schaffberg, and I'm Roca's Executive Vice President of New England. Thank you, Jay and Molly, for kicking off our event this morning. It's always a treat when Jay Ash gets involved. We're lucky to have him around. Our thoughts and prayers are with Harry's family. It was nice to be able to honor Harry's work this morning and recognize Gladys, Tom, and Maria as a tribute to his legacy. I want to start off with a big thank you to all of our partners, the community, the Roca team, and most of all, the incredibly resilient young people we serve. You have all shown up over these past 20 months as true heroes, helping one another. Our resourceful partners help Roca navigate this pandemic carefully. And although we still have a ways to go, the support from you all has been inspiring. As an essential service for young people in the communities we serve in Massachusetts and Baltimore, Roca has not stopped operating at full capacity during this pandemic. Like the rest of the country, we had to work remotely, but this only lasted a short period. We could not keep our staff from doing what they do best, showing up every day for young people. Roca got real creative, real fast to provide our services safely and more creatively. In FY21, Roca had the privilege of working with 1,000 young people across the state. 341 of this group were served out of the Chelsea site. Of those served out of Chelsea, 227 were high-risk young men, and 114 were high-risk young mothers. For those young people, and many others like them, the challenges began piling up exponentially from the start of the pandemic, on top of already difficult circumstances associated with poverty, violence, and trauma. Roca Chelsea provided over 6,000 programming opportunities related to education, employment, life skills, and pre-voc. Participants spent an average of 26.9 hours developing and practicing skills throughout the past fiscal year. In addition, youth workers logged over 20,000 relentless outreach and transformational relationship building efforts. Youth workers spent an average of 18.6 minutes per unintentional contact with a young man or mother. As a result of these relentless efforts of Roca staff, we were able to retain 92% of participants that we served within the fiscal year. Of those that were enrolled 21 months or longer in our intervention model, 66% were placed in a job outside of Roca. Of those that were placed in a job, 76% were able to hold their job for at least 90 days. Of those that enrolled 24 months or longer in our model, 92% had no new arrests and 99% had no new incarcerations. Of those young mothers that were enrolled 24 months or longer, 86% did not have any subsequent pregnancies. As we gradually come out of COVID, we know we need to double down on workforce readiness and the safety and well-being of our participants through the use of cognitive behavioral theory-informed curriculum and practices. We are grateful to have our headquarters here in Chelsea. As we expand to other cities like Baltimore, Maryland, Hartford, Connecticut, we always use our key partnerships with you all as a pure example of collaboration. With the launch of Roca's Impact Institute, our Chelsea partners are the cornerstone of our strategy and success. We are humbled by the courage and resilience of young people and so grateful for our partners. Next up, I would like to introduce a few members of our Roca Chelsea team, Dennis, Victoria, Paula, to share some stories from their work with the young men and young mothers. Thank you.
I want to share a story about youth work and how relationships build with our young people. I'm going to talk about a specific young person that came to Roca in 2017 through Suffolk Superior Court. He was on 5 years probation, a bracelet, and he come home with no real place to stay. He was living up on Bellingham Street and at times living in a hallway. Hard. So I worked with him, trying to get him to maybe work on things where he can maybe get a place to stay or get into a shelter or something like that. Very resistant, but I continued to work with him. He'd show up to Roca all the time. He was on the TEP crew, but just had other stuff outside of Roca that was bothering him. After a while, he kind of was doing his own thing. We were getting reports that he was acting up on certain street corners, and he wasn't working with his stipulation to Roca through the probation. Eventually, we had to submit attendance, and it was not good. Probation called him and said, listen, if you can't function out here, you can come back. It was around Thanksgiving that he got that report from his probation officer. We were having a dinner here, and I went up to where he hangs out at a certain park to see if he wanted to come get some dinner. He had the idea that I called and told on him. And so as he approached me, as I'm sitting in the car with the window down, that he was going to punch me in the face. And he had his fist balled up, and he was huffing and puffing, and he was swearing at me. I stood ground. For some reason, I had gotten to know him enough where I don't think he was going to punch me. He didn't punch me. I eventually said a nice couple words that I care about him, and I drove off. Throughout that, we continued to work, and he still had homeless issues. I got him into a shelter. I did a lot. Roca did a lot to help him, to aid him. He eventually made a couple mistakes and got called back to jail. Through the work that I did with him, despite how he felt about me, while he was in jail, I got a couple calls from him about how much important I am to him, and that he wants to change when he comes out. He came out and he was a grown man up here, and just to have him refer to me as like a father figure, because he didn't have a father figure. He's from Puerto Rico. He had traumatic experiences with men in Puerto Rico. So the fact that I was a healthy, older man in his life, he let me know that. And we continued to work. He continued to do stuff at Roca. He wanted to explore outside jobs. He liked security work and bodyguard stuff. He got a job at a club. And then she kept doing that, and always checked on him. Met a nice girl. Has, I think, 2 kids now, and a vehicle and a house, or an apartment. But every time I see him, every time we see each other, it's just a big, big smile and a big, big hug. I don't know if we're supposed to have favorites, but I have a few, and he's one of them.
Good morning. My name is Victoria Ramirez Morales. I am the program manager for the Central American Youth Initiative here in Chelsea, Roca, Chelsea. I started with Roca 6 years ago. My first year was working with the Young Moms program, and rest of the years I've been working with the young men, especially Central American population. I would like to tell you a story of how CBT takes place in our young men's life. These young men, I've been working with him for about 5 years, going to 6. And through the course of the first 3 years, he was a kid that was exhibiting a lot of trauma, coming from El Salvador, crossing the border, coming to Chelsea and going into the school systems here and experiencing also the culture shock, right? And he has seen a lot. He has seen a lot of violence in El Salvador. He sees a lot of violence here too. He started exhibiting risky behaviors at school, started getting into trouble, fighting. There was one incident that took place where he and another young man had a conflict that caused to this matter to go to court. So he had a charge with a dangerous weapon. So the moment that event happened, this young man called me, and that's the relationship trust that we have, calls me, and he said that he has done something bad, that he has harmed another young man. I asked how bad it was. He says, it's bad. What should I do? Should I run away? And that's when our CBT comes into conversations, and we're like, okay, let's try to solve this, right? Let's use this skill. And so if you run away from the state, do we think that this problem goes away? And he started thinking, it's like, no, he wouldn't run away, but I wouldn't be here and they wouldn't get me. And I was like, yeah, but then you will be living your life, right? Running away all the time, always hiding from people. And then he said, but I said, if we walk through it together and we go to the police together, maybe we can solve this problem, and I'm gonna be by your side, we're gonna go through it together. So the young man after, he said, okay, let's do it. we were able to communicate with our police department here in Chelsea. We were able to walk this man to court. The great results about this is like with the CBT, you can work with this young man, trying to solve this in a matter of like, it doesn't have to be with the court. And these two young men that had the conflict, we were able to put them in a circle. They were able to solve the matter and, not became friends, but not getting into trouble with each other. And his cases got dismissed from court, which was great. And now this young man, this young man is very, how can I say, successful right now. He's working through his diploma through the high school, finishing up. He's working, he's a chef, he's a tremendous chef. And he's working to a better life here. And just because we have that opportunity and we able to have this kind of life skills of CBT to work with them.
Hello everyone, my name is Paola. I'm the Assistant Director of Roca Young Mothers Program here in Chelsea. We have worked with 100 young mothers and their children in the community over the past 18 years that I've been at Roca. These are young women who people don't realize they even exist. They weren't the ones who line up for diapers every Wednesday for the last year outside of Roca. They are not accessing for benefits, often because they are too scared to be judged or for anyone to know who they are. They and their children are not in school. Some are in shelters, but many more are living in one room with their children or don't know where they will sleep every night. Most of them have been victimized and their children has been the witnesses. But they are beautiful, resilient, and hopeful for a better life for their children. We had the privilege of working with them. From April 2020 to April 2021, we worked with 150 young mothers, of which 60 lost their jobs and they were ineligible for unemployment. 55 experienced new housing instability. 48 experienced domestic violence and 45 got the COVID-19 virus. 44 lost child care and 19 had new open DCF cases and 18 became pregnant. Our staff worked tirelessly because these young mothers were scared and had no one else to call, stuck in one room with their children and afraid to seek medical care for fear of losing their children, having no one with them while giving birth. During the whole time, we were so grateful to the partnerships we have in this city, from our partners at Harbor Cop and TND for helping us navigate with the domestic violence and homelessness, to the city for having work for our moms in transition employment or finding us isolation hotels where moms could bring their kids, to the police for helping our moms in difficult situations navigate to safety. I want to tell you about Brittany. She came to Chelsea as a teenager, fleeing from violence like many other young people. She became involved in risk behaviors, got pregnant and dropped out of every high. But she was referred to Roca by another high-risk young mother 3 years ago. Her living situation was unsafe, so her Roca youth worker connected her to DTA, who placed her in a shelter. She worked hard on her GED, building parenting skills and changing her life to be a great mom and create a better life for her son. Last February, she was set out to her GED exam. She had gotten her work permit and her first job at a restaurant, finally enrolling Leanne in childcare. Then her world turned upside down. The couple she had just rented a room from tested positive for COVID-19. She quarantined, but still got sick, with no one took care of her and her child. Roca dropped off food, cleaning supplies, medication, and thermometer. She was afraid to leave the house and go to the doctor for fear of losing her son. She was afraid he would get sick. She couldn't work, and by the time she recovered, she lost her job in the childcare. Roca supported her with rent and was able to give her a Chromebook and a hotspot to give her access to continue with her GED classes. During the pandemic, she didn't give up and continued working for her goals. Britney finally graduated from her GED. She also reunified with her mother, and together they run a small business. We are so proud of her and all of our young mothers who have overcome so much. Thank you again.
So I like to multitask. I had the benefit of seeing these videos ahead of time, so I was able to chat. We'll continue to chat throughout. I just want to thank everybody on the call again. It's been terrific to work with all of you. I'm going to put on my board hat for a minute and just thank Scott and Dennis and Victoria and Paula and the entire staff for all that you do. I think Molly would be the first to say that we heap accolades on Molly, and frankly, they're well-deserved, but Molly would be the first to say that everything that she's able to accomplish is because of a terrific staff that she gets to work with. And I know when I come down to the building, when I go out to the programs, when I visit other sites around the state and around the country where Roca is involved, that the real secret sauce is the staff and the commitment that you all make. So thanks for all the efforts that you do, and to my fellow board members on the call, thank you for your continued commitment. So we're going to transition to some Q&A. I think there's been a lot going on in the chat. There may be a few questions in there. Molly, I'm going to let you take the Q&A. You know that if I answer the questions, they may not match. My answers may not match all the questions. So I'm happy to turn it over to Molly and Scott, and I'll hang on just in case there's something I can answer.
I'm trying to see if we have any questions. While we're waiting for questions, I do want to say one thing. I had written in the chat that I know historically I have a bit of this relentless reputation, which is our, polite word for pain in the you-know-what. But I hope you can tell, listening to Dennis and Victoria, and although Paola was very formal, they are more relentless than I am. So it's in the water at Roca. So we wanted to let you know. We have any questions here? Nope.
Well, I'm gonna be an icebreaker,
Okay.
if I could. So we know where we've been for the last 30 years. Take us over the next year or 5 years, and where are we going?
Okay, I'm actually going to back up for a minute here because a question popped in. Sorry.
Yeah,
sorry.
Don't I get priority? I'm the MC.
I know. Somebody jumped in while we were waiting. So the question was, how did Roca shift services and deliver things like CBT during the pandemic? So I'm going to turn that over to Scott and then to Victoria. I won't forget your question, Jay.
Morning, everybody. So like I said earlier, when the pandemic hit, we had to shift really quick like everybody else did in the world. But we couldn't keep our teams from not wanting to come in and see the young people and work with the young people. So we got real creative real fast, and we used technology as our friend. We mastered social media platforms to be able to connect to our young people. We pushed out Chromebooks and hotspots to everybody to help with connectivity. And we got back in the building as quick as we could to safely deliver our services. In terms of CBT, Victoria, can you talk a little bit about how you transitioned to using virtual CBT and the hybrid approach?
Yes, when we went on remote, I remember watching a lot of videos in Facebook and Instagram, and there was a platform, I completely forgot the name of the platform but they were using it in Europe to stay connected. Everybody in the community in Madrid and all those cities in Europe, they were using this platform to stay connected and put the families together. And I downloaded that application the first week that we were remote, and I tried it with my young men. And that's the platform that I started using to teach classes of CBTs from home to everyone. It looks just like the Zoom, like we're experiencing right now. And that was the application that was putting us all together all over again.
So maybe Paola can talk a little bit about, the team was out throughout the entire pandemic with the exception of 2 weeks doing social distance outreach. And Maybe Paola, you can tell us a little bit about your relentlessness too.
Thank you, Molly. So that was it. First of all, I want to say it's an honor to be part of this organization, and I'm being learning from all of you every day. And I want to say thank you also to the providers during the pandemic. They were very helpful, and the youth workers were doing an incredible work. And we were doing relentless outreach and providing all the community, our young, about what they need during the pandemic, with the diapers, food, and also with anything they need, thermometers. And big part of this was like just be consistency, persistency, and we were very, very great about doing incredible work with the programming and be very like a strategize everybody. Thank you, Molly.
Great. Dennis, you want to add in anything?
Yes, it was. I just remember like going to doorsteps, keeping distance, and just delivering care packages, and seeing sometimes some of my participants at the time when I was youth worker had a look of like they didn't know wasn't too sure what was going on, and they somehow had a little bit of like worry in their face. So just to sit or stand at a distance and still talk to them and deliver CBT and letting them know that we're still here. The streets were like vacant. It was just a strange time, but the fact that it also kept me sane. I love the fact that Roca was able to keep me employed throughout the stay-at-home thing. So it was a strange time. Still is a little bit. So.
No, I cannot even begin to tell you all how courageous the Roca team has been. With the exception of 2 weeks, this team has been out every single day, working through emergencies, trying to get people to testing, trying to get mothers and babies safe, getting people food and diapers, and maintaining support, because what we are about is relationships. So just truly humbling. The next question I'll kick over to Scott. Could you tell us where the work crews are?
Well, here in Chelsea, our work crews are in Chelsea, Revere, and Somerville. We find that our best partners are municipalities to let our work crews go out, work in the community and give back a little bit, help beautify the parks and clean up the city. It's always worked to be a wonderful transition with our young people, our crew supervisor, our team, and our partners. So we do the work in Revere, Chelsea, and Somerville, the DPW system.
So let me just go back to Tom and Gladys here a little bit. So we had to close the work crews down at the beginning of the pandemic. Obviously, we couldn't put young people in cars. Nobody knew if they could be next to each other. Our first crew would meet when we could start again at the front door of Roca and walk down the street and pack boxes for the city, which was just an extraordinary opportunity, I think, for young people and for our team and for us to help the city. And Gladys called me one Saturday asking for diapers. So we loaded up diapers in a car, and that launched our diaper days. And I can't, we know people in many different places in the country and the world. And I sort of feel like we live in a secret place here in Chelsea and the surrounding areas. I know that all the surrounding cities work together to try to address a pandemic and to help people who had no other access. And again, just hats off to Gladys for her leadership, and Tom and the city that worked together so incredibly. So Jay, we'll go to your question here. Many of you know, some of you may not, Roca does work across the state of Massachusetts. We actually have 5 sites and 8 programs. Obviously, Chelsea is first and always our home. We will come back to that. We have a little sub-site in Lynn. We have a site in Boston, in Springfield, and in Holyoke. Some of you may know that 3.5 years ago, we launched a program in Baltimore with young men, which has been an incredible, humbling, and painful journey. There is more violence in the city of Baltimore than the entire state of Massachusetts. But again, an indomitable, relentless spirit of Roca there. And so thrilled to let you know that we're launched a program in Hartford for young mothers this week, actually. And the other question that sort of comes to Roca always is, what are you gonna do when you grow up? We kind of avoided that as much as possible because, who wants to grow up? How do you scale? How do you do more for more people? And we really looked at our key strategies, our methodology of relentless outreach, of CBT, of how to work with police, how to work with corrections and probation and judges in a meaningful way. How do you wrap around young people? How do you help institutions, public and private, have difficult but honest discussions about young people who are sort of at the heart of urban violence, who have the least support, who don't show up to programs? And so we quietly launched during the pandemic something called the Roca Impact Institute. And we have been coaching police, we've been coaching nonprofits, we've been coaching corrections officers in the 4 houses of corrections here. The Department of Juvenile Services in Maryland, wanted a little training, and now they want to train all of their field staff across the state in CBT. And we are just beyond, it's almost speechless, the privilege we have to meet people and to share stuff. I think that as we look forward, Jay, I mean, it's a little hard to look forward, but there's so much going on today. But one is we need to keep getting better. Those of you who know us know we're not only relentless, but we use data. We make sure that what we're doing is helpful, that it matters, that it gives young people and staff and partners the tools to bring change. And we hope to keep getting better at that. And we would love, in just our lane, to be able to add to the efforts for criminal justice reform and social justice reform, and to promote, racial justice and equity in this country by working with the young people that we work with and by working with our partners. So that's where we're headed for the future.
Molly, if I could jump back in for a minute, it's one of the things that has impressed me the most over the years about Roca. You're the last one who's going to say about all the awards that you've won, and national recognitions, and the respect that Roca has, not only in the country, but around the world. And yet, folks on the call, every time I see Molly, one of her first questions is, what can we be doing better? And Molly, you never rest, Team Roca. You never rest, and that's one of your endearing qualities. And frankly, after 33 years, I'm getting kind of tired following all of you around. It's been so much work. But thanks for continuing to show up every day, ready to be open to a new way of doing things, and really being open to working with young people out in our communities and meeting their challenges day to day with the inspiration and the energy that you do. It's really a remarkable organization, and it's really tremendous work that you've done.
So thank you, Jay. I don't think we have any more questions. So as we close out, again, just want to thank the young people who let us into their lives. I know sometimes, not readily the first 1 to 10 times, to the incredible Roca staff team, to our partners. Thank you all for joining us today. We look forward to the day we get to see you in person. We cannot do this without you. Please hold a mirror up to us, push us to be better and more effective, we can just keep learning. And to all of you, we wish you a great morning. And to Robin and your family, our heart is with you. Thank you so much for sharing Harry with us. We're so deeply honored. Have a great day. Thank you.
I just landed on this earth today. Heard some people acting crazy over something strange. Brothers be paying for diamonds that they can't afford, just to keep up the appearance for a Polaroid. All I see is something crazy I don't understand. Ladies making babies just to keep a man. Fellas chasing Stellas when they got a Pam. They go from Stephanie to Bethany, from Jeopardy to never be. So how does it feel to be loved? Oh, how does it feel? That's what they say. Ooh, must be insane. Oh yeah. How does it feel to be loved? Somebody has got to tell me, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It goes timeline, swipe right, deep like 5 times. Don't know what it sounds like, but someone told me it's a little Marvin with some candlelight. A little ocean on the weekend with a can of Sprite. I mean, I love him white. Ooh. Love is such a mystery. I'm so perplexed by all the things my eyes have let me see. People think that love is things like physicality, when in reality it's meant to hold you down like gravity. How does it feel to be loved? How does it feel? How does it feel? Yeah. Hey. Oh. Because you see now, how am I supposed to find love if I don't understand love? How am I supposed to be loved? Ooh. And if I have to buy love, then I don't really want love. If this is what it means, the fighting and the screams, you want dependency, I need sincerity. Oh, hey. I gotta know, I ain't too sure. Somebody tell me, how does it feel to be loved? Yeah. Oh,